What are the largest creatures that ever existed on Earth? You may think of giant dinosaurs like the Tyrannosaurus Rex, but is it really among the largest of all time? Today we're going to explore the fascinating world of nature's giants and find out which are the largest and most impressive species that have ever inhabited our planet. Believe me, you're going to be surprised by each of these animals that we're going to show you, starting with this one. The largest bird to ever fly over the earth was an impressive creature, capable of flying long distances with its gigantic wings. And incredible as it may seem, it actually existed 6 million years ago and was the terror of the living beings that crossed its path. With its size of 7 meters, it had a huge sharp beak that it used to tear its prey with ease. It also had strong legs and feet, but what impressed most about this animal was the size of its wings. This amazing bird couldn't flap its wings easily because its muscles were too weak to support its huge wingspan. Scientists discovered its fossils in 1983 in the United States. They were impressed by the size and shape of this bird. Its wings were long and narrow, its legs were strong and robust, its beak was sharp and curved, and its feet were enormous. Its scientific name was Argentavis magnificens. It was the king of the ancient skies. Have you ever imagined a crocodile the size of a bus? Well, it existed a long time ago, when dinosaurs still ruled the earth. There was a gigantic reptile that was the terror of the rivers. Its scientific name is Emperor Sarcosuchus, but it became known as the super crocodile. It was so big it could swallow a car whole. It measured about 12 meters in length and weighed more than 8 tons. It had huge sharp teeth that it used to catch fish and even small dinosaurs that approached the water. He was the king of the rivers and no one dared to challenge him. But where in the world was there room for such a large crocodile? Africa. At that time, Africa was a hot and humid continent covered in forests and swamps. There the super croc found enough food and shelter to survive. But what happened to him? Why did he disappear? Well, unfortunately, scientists still don't have an answer to these questions. One of the largest predators to ever walk the land and could hunt even other giant dinosaurs. That was the profile of a colossal reptile that lived about 100 million years ago in South America. The animal was a distant relative of the famous Tyrannosaurus Rex, but it was even larger and stronger, measuring about 13 meters long, 4 meters tall, and weighing about 5 tons. That was Giganotosaurus. But what did he hunt? Well, he could attack any animal that crossed his path, from small reptiles and mammals to other herbivorous dinosaurs and even dinosaurs larger than himself. The animal had a huge head, a muscular neck, a robust body, and a long balanced tail. He was a ruthless and intelligent hunter who could stalk, ambush, or attack his victims in groups. How about meeting a gigantic snake capable of swallowing an elephant whole, reaching 14 meters in length and weighing up to 1.5 tons? This prehistoric snake was the largest predator on the planet 60 million years ago, shortly after the extinction of the dinosaurs. It lived in swampy jungles in the present-day Amazon region, where it hunted primitive crocodiles, giant tortoises, and other large animals. She would wrap herself around the victim until she immobilized it. The victim would die of suffocation or even being crushed and was swallowed whole by the snake. This amazing snake was discovered in 2009 in northern Colombia from fossilized vertebrae that were 5 times larger than the ones of the Brazilian anaconda. This was the Titanoboa, the largest snake that ever lived. Now, meet the largest carnivorous dinosaur that ever lived. This creature lived about 100 million years ago in the Cretaceous period. It could reach up to 49 feet in length and weigh up to 7 tons. But what was most notable about this creature were its spines. They extended from its vertebrae, the backbones, and formed a structure reminiscent of a boat's sail. Some spines could have been up to 2 meters tall. Scientists aren't sure what they were for, but they have some ideas. Maybe they helped control body temperature, warming or cooling as needed. Or maybe they were a warning sign to other animals, showing how big and strong she was. Called Spinosaurus, this animal was a semi-aquatic dinosaur, meaning it lived both on land and in water. The Spinosaurus was discovered in 1912 in Egypt by a German paleontologist named Ernst Stromer. The biggest fish that ever swam the seas had teeth so big they could tear a rhinoceros in half. This prehistoric monster was so powerful that it had no natural enemy and dominated the oceans for millions of years. Do you know who we're talking about? The megalodon was a species of giant shark that could measure up to 18 meters in length and weigh up to 50 tons. It lived in almost every sea on the planet from 23 to 2.5 million years ago. Known as one of the greatest predators in history, it devoured everything in its path, from smaller fish to whales and seals. Its teeth were razor sharp and could reach 17 centimeters in length. So what happened to this scary shark? Why did it disappear? Scientists believe it died of starvation. It sounds strange, but it's true. What happened was that climate and ecological changes caused its favorite prey to go extinct as well. Without enough food, the megalodon couldn't survive. An animal that lives in the oceans is so big that it could swallow an airplane easily. Can you imagine? This animal is the largest that currently exists on Earth. It can measure more than 30 meters in length and weigh more than 180 tons. But don't be alarmed, this animal is not a ferocious monster. It feeds on tiny organisms called krill, which are like tiny shrimp. The blue whale needs to eat about 4 tons of krill per day to stay healthy. And it has a special way of doing this by opening its huge mouth and swallowing a large amount of water. Then it closes its mouth and pushes the water out through its baleen, which are like combs in its upper jaw. That way, it gets the krill stuck in its baleen and can swallow it. In addition, the animal can also communicate with other whales through very low sound that can travel for thousands of miles in the ocean. It can dive to a depth of up to 500 meters and go up to 20 minutes without breathing. Unfortunately, it is estimated that there are about 10,000 blue whales in the world today. This next animal measured 36 meters in length and weighed up to 75 tons. Such was the greatness of this animal that it is certainly the greatest of the heavyweights that ever walked the earth. Can you imagine a being as gigantic as that? This animal lived in Argentina. There it found plenty of trees and leaves to eat and also other animals of its kind. But it didn't have many enemies because it was too big and strong to be attacked. You must be curious to know the name of this fantastic animal, right? Well, its name is Argentinosaurus, which means the lizard of Argentina. With that, can we already say that it is the largest animal in history? The answer is maybe. That's because you're going to be even more impressed. Maybe the Argentinosaurus is not the largest animal in human history. There is another being that might have surpassed this giant in size and weight. A being that lived about 150 million years ago in the Jurassic period and left only one trace of its existence, a vertebrae. To give you an idea, this animal could measure between 58 to 60 meters in length and weigh up to 122 tons. Named Ampiquilias fragilimus, this animal is very controversial, as several experts argue that the size of 58 to 60 meters is uncertain speculation without concrete proof. But what about you? Have you ever imagined an animal as big as 60 meters long?